Well, if you found your way here, you're in the right place. You're in the right space. Hello, my awakened brothers and sisters from around the world, from across different genders, races, political ideologies, and religious ideologies. If you're here with me today and you're following my journey on the awakening, it means that you too have heard the call. I say that because now more than ever, the awakened ones, the ones they accuse of being woke, those of us who have love in our hearts, who embrace everyone, those of us who stand behind your choice of who you want to be, we're called the woke. We're the awakened ones. We are the ones who have understood the call and have heard the call of the universe. This magnificent universe that is millions and millions of years old, millions of solar systems and planets, planets we can't see, because Earth is the smallest, youngest of the planets in its solar system called the Milky Way. And beyond the Milky Way, there's other solar systems we cannot see because our human eye and minds don't see. Now, some of us reach that way because we write a lot. I'm a fiction author, as you know. I write magical realism, write drama. I have another story that it's being shopped around right now. It's a touching, heartwarming story about a little boy who is going to be the voice of his family when he grows older. I'm going to try my hand at science fiction. We know how it is with us black science fiction authors. White folks, some white people believe that they are the ones who own sci fi and don't really appreciate diversity in science fiction. Octavia Butler was the first black science fiction author, and the late Octavia Butler. So if you go and read some of her writings, she was way ahead of her time. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I just wanted to say, welcome, welcome. We're going to talk a little bit more about the awakening. When I wake up this morning, I do my own prayer. I may have mentioned to some of you, I study Buddhism. I have for the last 40 years. And so I do my own morning prayer. And I also uh, acknowledge my ancestors. You see, I've traced my roots back to West Africa. Okay. And so that's why West Africa, in my story, Wrong Daughter, Night of the Blood Moon, became so powerful and the foundation of that story. The Songhai and Mali empires were the most powerful empires in West Africa. Okay. So the point I wanted to continue my voice around the awakening because right now it is critical for all of us that are hearing the call. And the more evil tries to oppress us, and oppression doesn't just mean black folks, or people of color. White people are feeling the oppression as well, women, because they're trying to control the narrative and control us. In order to be very wealthy and significantly wealthy, they have to have oppressed people. Okay, and you will read about this in religious um, uh, writings about how they interpret this kind of progression of the evil in our world today. I I used to study Christianity as well, and there's a passage talks about the mark of the beast in the 666 and the Antichrist. And the Antichrist, people will think of the Antichrist as being a supporter of God, okay, and their philosophy. People thought Jim Jones, I've mentioned this before, they thought Jim Jones was also the savior, and Jim Jones took predominantly African Americans back to Guyana and murdered them, had them drink the Kool Aid. And it was too late by the time they woke up. There are religious leaders I have studied over the past, and I've always told people, I don't care, I'm not following any religious leader anywhere. Okay? There's messages I can hear and learn, maybe perhaps from some, but I won't follow you over to Guyana. And I won't be drinking the damn Kool Aid. Because you see, I am an independent. I am not a partisan political person. I don't belong to anybody's political party. I vote how I want to vote. And I am a true independent. And I've taught my family to be that as well. So for those of us who are true independents, it is a little easier for us to become awakened because we don't delve into or believe the bullshit. So what I wanted to say to you as we walk on this journey, and may I mention that some of our social media platforms have already started trying to oppress or, you know, stop people from talking so much. I'm just going to say it. Mark Zuckerberg has already played into the hands of the new administration, already started kissing up to the administration. Jeff Bezos, if I could find a way not to use Amazon, I would. And what would hurt folks from stopping to use Amazon is the small business. Because let's understand this. As we go into this new administration, they don't give a damn about small businesses, people. They only give a damn about corporations and people that can support them. Small business people, they don't care about, okay? They're going to be stopping some of those loans that go to some of the small business administration. So we're going to see a lot of small businesses failing because they don't give a damn about them. So that's the only reason why I haven't gotten rid of Amazon is because small businesses, it's made up of small business. And a lot of those people need us to support them. So I'll continue along that line. Jeffrey Bezos already has his money. He doesn't need Amazon. He's got his money already, okay? But I can say I won't be reading the Washington Post, okay? Because we know that's going to play into Project 2025. I told you about Project 2025 in the media. That media will flow through the new administration. You won't be able to say anything, nothing bad about the new administration. You will have to toe the line. If not, you will be fined. As you're hearing right now, they want to sue CBS for interviewing Kamala Harris. Those kind of things will be happening. They will be threatening more media. And the sad thing about it, folks, is that a lot of your neutral media is gone. I used to be in media. I used to be a media journalist and worked in public affairs. And I left journalism during the time there was no neutrality, you know, or objectivity in reporting. During 2016, prior to that election, they started buying up a lot of the progressive radio stations, okay? Moving them towards the right, okay? CNN is no longer the supposedly neutral station any longer. They have moved right. MSNBC will be moving right too in 2025. If not totally to the right, they will be very cautious about what they say. We won't be hearing in-depth reporting from people like Rachel Maddow anymore. That will change. Fox is not a news station. Fox is just a group of opinionators and people who support the right. They're there to change and influence people and brainwash people. That's what they're there for. They're not journalists. Journalists actually are people who look for the truth and report the truth regardless of what side you're on, right? And those are going by the wayside. We don't have those type of journalists anymore. Those type of journalists are people that go into the war zones and report on wars and end up dying because they're there to report what behind the scenes and what's being happening in places like Gaza, etc. So that's going to change in 2025. Now, I also wanted to talk. Somebody had sent me a picture of Elon Musk's robots protecting Mar-a-Lago, and they were kind of shocked by that. And I said, "But why are you shocked?" Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they aren't necessarily friends. They need each other. Okay, Elon Musk needs the new administration to support him in his illegal activities, whatever he does. When you think about someone being able to talk to a dictator and not get in trouble, I mean, I grew up in a time in school when that was called treason. But in this new world, treason doesn't matter. You can be treasonous and get away with it, sadly. Okay. So he needs the new administration, and can predict that his robot dogs will be the new military support, meaning that, remember when they talked about the enemy within and using the United States military on the Democrats and the people on the left and the progressives? Well, the military has a conscience, folks. I am of an Air Force family. My dad was captain in the Air Force, Korean War. Okay. Imagine being a pod captain in the Air Force during that time. But they have a conscience. And, when they say they serve their country, they serve their country. They don't serve it being biased and supporting dictators and going against people that want to speak their minds. So, what's going to happen, you're going to see a defense contract being negotiated with the government between Elon Musk and the new administration to create a bunch of robotic dogs or a military that can patrol the streets of the United States. Watch people who are getting out of line. For example, if you're protesting, you might see some robotic dogs coming your way. And so that's what's going to happen. And some of your defense funding is going to go to support Elon Musk's new invention. Remember, Elon Musk already owns practically NASA, folks. The space launch and things. It's not, government really doesn't run that. If you've been paying attention, Elon Musk is the one, SpaceX and all of that. He's funding all of that. So he is in charge of space exploration, folks, going to the other planets. Because again, people like him, and I still don't believe Elon Musk is real. I truly believe he's an AI. People keep looking at him and saying, "Come on, Amani, are you serious?" I do. I believe he's an AI or a part robotic. I think he's experimented on himself. That is just what I believe. I feel that in my gut. He's not a real person. But anyway, he's in charge of that. And so we've got people like him that are trying to get beyond the stars because they think they can reach the God or the creator or the source. You can't get there, but they think they can. You can't touch the hand of source. You can't touch the energy of source, not in that way. This universe is way too old, and the depth of knowledge in this universe we haven't even touched. But they're trying to get there because they think they can, but they won't be able to. They'll be destroyed before they can even get beyond there. Um, and that's a whole other story. But I'm just saying that that's why I wrote Wrong Daughter Night of the Blood Moon. I think I've mentioned this before. My characters speak through me, and I've heard this through them. My characters about the greatness of the universe, the greatness of source. That's why I always say Semperian be with you. Semperian is the universal designer of the universe, and it's the protector of source consciousness. And source consciousness is not a person, it's an energy. And we all have pieces of that, particularly as light beings, those of us that are awakened. We need to focus in that direction and pull from that source and energy. That's why it is so important for us during this time as awakened ones to look towards the universe, not man made laws. You know, people say, well, God, they got all the money. You know what? You got people that got money that are afraid of this new administration. Anytime you have a Mark Zuckerberg, this this guy is worth, he's a billionaire, and you're scared. Jeffrey Bezos is a billionaire, and you're scared. Bill Gates is not scared. Okay, a lot of people don't like Bill Gates. I have a high regard for Bill Gates. I really do. I have a high regard for Bill Gates, regardless of what people think. You know, that was a guy that really looked at trying to level the playing field for folks behind them. You know, that's what he was trying to do, and his foundation is incredible. I've always wished I could work for that foundation because I used to live in Seattle, Washington. That's a guy I really regard highly, and I truly believe that Vice President Kamala Harris will be connected to the Gates Foundation in the future. Um, she should be. She really should be. And then she can be our powerful world figure um, in a different way. Okay? So just keep in mind, folks, that as light beings and the awakened spirit, we have a source that's greater than them. The way you get to that source that's greater than them, it's not outside of you. And I'm not talking about anybody's religious beliefs. I know people believe in a one heaven and a one hell. That's their belief. I don't. I believe that the essence of the universe, the creator of all things, is more powerful than a heaven and a hell. More powerful than that. And so powerful that we cannot be the only life forms in this universe. That is limiting the power of the creator or God source or whatever you want to call it. So, and truly, if the God source or creator is that powerful, they have to be beyond who we are as human beings, because we are very destructive. This planet is like living in a hell, so to speak. And I'm not talking about a hell like with the devil and those kind of things. I'm talking about devilish functions, demonic functions from people. And I'm not talking about people because they're practicing certain kinds of philosophies, or people call them cults. You know, like I said, I was a journalist. I've interviewed Wiccans. I've interviewed people who studied voodoo. Lots of different people, and they're just human beings like everybody else. They just believe a certain way. It doesn't faze me. I know people say, well, they do these curses on people. I guess if you believe that they can curse you, you will be cursed. I don't believe in that. I have a higher authority that surrounds me. I am protected by that higher authority. I'm also protected by my ancestors. And more and more and more, our ancestors in Africa is the ancient continent. It's the continent that was the beginning of this earth as we know it. Let's just say it. Africa is that continent, and our ancestors in the ancient continents of Africa and those empires, before they enslaved us, we were kings and queens, the left and right hand of God. We need to remember that. Okay? And by saying that, I'm not denying any other race or anything of that nature, because they're all our brethren as well, because they can learn from us that light that comes from us. Because I've said this before, people of African descent are the most spiritual human beings on this planet, if we remember that, because that's where we came from. Okay? So, ancient Africa, I talk a lot about that. That's a story they don't want continued told, the narrative around that. But I bring that up because that's where the awakening will flow from. Not from today, but it's coming. The energy comes way back from the ancient Africans and Africa, and flows cut down through the universe. Yes, I wrote about that in Wrong Daughter, Night of the Blood Moon. And again, that stuff comes through me, and I just write what comes through me. And again, please, please, please. I know there's people, my daughter, for example, is very, very sensitive to what's going on. It's really painful. And there's some of you out there that it's really painful right now about what's going on. I'm letting you know that it doesn't mean that it doesn't affect me. It's just that when I go to sleep at night, I have to do a meditation that is going to allow me to sleep at ease and peace throughout the night and get up refreshed. Because if I don't do that, it will attack me too. It will attack my spirit. But I think the reason I'm so not saying I don't care or oblivious to what's going on, it's just that I've been around for a while and I've been through it in and out of different spiritualities and organizations. And, I've studied religions here and there, and good people in religions I've been in and experienced. And I've been there and I've touched the universe, and I know it's the energy is there. And I just have to remind myself, because of everything that's going on right now, it's clouding me as well. It's trying to cloud my mind where I can't think, where it stops me from listening to the voices that come to me so I can write the stories that you all need to hear. Okay? So really, really do your best to shut down what's going on out there. Don't stay off television and social media, people. You're going to have to do that because those are going to be changing soon anyway. There won't be so many different voices doing this and that because they're going to start changing that as well. I told you, Facebook has already tried to stop some of the things that I've been saying. I sent them a note and said, what happened to XYZ people that have reviewed some of what I've been saying? Then they tried to put them back on there because I called them out on it. So I'm going to be putting a lot of things on my website, www.amanishakit.com. Also on my YouTube channel, Miss Lenora Boss channel. And so just stay tuned for that. My channel, of course, is on YouTube. And someone did ask me, they said, is YouTube going to go away? Not right away. I did predict, though, when Google purchased YouTube, that it would try to create a YouTube channel where you would have to pay to use it, right? They are still working on that, a YouTube channel where they're using all of our content to drive YouTube. Right now, I think will be the last before they start trying to go after YouTube, not Google, but the new administration. But right now, YouTube has channels on there from Nazis calling people the N word. I've run into them. I've tried to report them. But a lot of those people are still on there calling us dogs and rabbit dogs and niggers and anything else they can. So when the administration tries to change things, they're going to be careful about it because they don't want to get rid of the voices that support them, like the Nazis, okay? Like the white supremacists, like the Proud Boys, all those evil doers that will also be a part of their new military. Those people have voices on those channels as well. And they want to make sure that their voices aren't drowned out because the new administration calls those people patriotic. And those of us who are awakening and who love and embrace everybody else, regardless of who you are, we're not patriotic. So my thing has always been, if patriotic means that I have to hate you and disrespect you, then I guess I'm not patriotic. Again, my authority is of a higher consciousness. I am a spiritual person who believes in the spiritual law of the universe. And one of those laws that's rampant is karma, cause and effect. And I'm not talking about be nice so good things can come at you. Cause and effect, again, what you put out, you will get the effect back, regardless of who you are. And how that effect shows up depends on you and your energy. And I always like to use this as an example. You know, the movie Set It Off. Where were they? Four ladies that robbed the bank? Four. And they made that cause to rob the bank, but different effect. They each got a different effect. Okay. And only one got away with the money. Okay. So cause, they made the cause, but each one got a different effect, and the effect depends on your nature and who you are. So those, I don't like to just say billionaires across the ring, because there's some billionaires that really try to use their wealth for good. And I do say that about Bill Gates, regardless of what people say. I like Bill Gates, regardless, and I know he's a billionaire, and billionaires have their way, but I truly believe that he tries to support. But there's other billionaires, the Elon Musk and people that just don't give it in. It's all about greed. But just so you know, just kind of pay attention. Yes, it's going to get a little tough, but mark my word, I can guarantee you that it will fall. That whole way of looking at life, controlling people, oppressing people, making you fearful of who they are, using their power to suppress you and your family, to take away from you until you follow them regardless. And I'm just going to use the Christian's term of this mark of the beast, 666. You know, the mark of the beast, if you don't accept their way of life, you will receive nothing, you will suffer, those kind of things. So, yes, but that old way of thought, I promise you, is going to die. It's going to destruct. Right now it appears to be massive. But one of the things that we need to do, regardless of what you see, remember you are more powerful than they are. The enlightened ones, the light beings, the awakened ones, we're more powerful than they are. We may not have the financial wealth that they do, but we have the spiritual wealth within our essence that's more powerful than they are. And when we understand that, because I'm connecting and relearning that, because as a child, I remember that power. I remember when I spoke it, it came into manifestation. And as we get older, because as children, we are not brainwashed, our minds are opened, right? But as we get older, we get brainwashed. We start listening to too much stuff. Because when I grew up, they didn't have social media, okay? We didn't have all that crap that was terrorizing our minds. We were able to be free and think freedom and thought and explore the world and with innocence, through innocence eyes. But as we grow older and they start taking our minds and messing with our minds, people, this is when we lose our manifestation and the power of manifestation. We are powerful. You know, listen to your intuition. That gut. People always say, when I used to work in the workplace, one of the things I didn't tell people was that I made decisions based on my gut. But was more my gut was more right than data. Well, here's the data and here's the research. No. Okay. So I just want to say to you all, close your eyes, particularly at nighttime when nobody's around. Close your eyes. Whatever prayer you want to use, I have mine, like I said. But speak it. We need to speak it. Thank you, universe, for giving me this day. Thank you for allowing me to breathe. Thank you for allowing me to be another day and to embrace love and dignity and respect for all others. Allow me to sleep peacefully tonight. Protect me as I sleep. Don't allow the negativity forces to come in and get into my mind and give me nightmares and make me restless when I get up in the morning. Help me to get up refreshed so I can live another day, to be the light to the world. So I can be the light to the world. And I'm not trying to take on the world, people. We can't. It's too big, right? But in your space, you can be the light for the person that's next to you. Be their light. And I'm not saying walk up to the same, I want to be your light. You just be the light and they'll come towards you. Okay? And then they will be touched by the light that comes through you. So, again, I'm going to do as much as I can on this the awakening. And I pray to my ancestors, the universe, and the universal forces and people that protect spirits that protect us, that they allow me to continue my voice, because we will not be silenced and we will not be threatened, because our power is much greater than yours. And as I say that, I say to those who are walking along the road of hatred, I say to you, may you reap what you sow quick. And there was this term, say, sevenfold or whatever. I wanted to hit you so hard that you either become enlightened too, or you move along to wherever you need to go. Okay? So with that, I'd like to say, my awakened ones, keep the faith. It's about us.